It's 1:35 in the morning, and I'm doing this video because it is very, very striking. Well, the idea of the video, as you might have read in the title, is there's no such thing as right or wrong. The only thing that matters when you're doing something is the context. So when you are engaging in an activity, the only thing that actually matters is why is it happening, how is it happening, and where is it happening? Or basically, what is the context of that particular activity? And this one idea actually challenges the entire framework of morality. When I say there is no such thing as right or wrong, it sounds very strange. It sounds dangerous, but I'm gonna explain why it is not so dangerous. This is not something that I just came up when I was just laying down on my bed and I was not getting sleep, but this was discussed before me by a lot of different people. And one among them is Aristotle. Aristotle basically spoke about something called Phronesis, doing what is apt for the situation, doing what is best in that particular context, because the right thing to do depends entirely on the situation that you are in, because the right thing that you're supposed to do is based entirely on that specific context. If you do a kind act in a situation that might be very, very wrong in another context, let's say you're waiting for a train and you see a cat that is very thirsty. So you hand this cat a cup of water and you keep it on the floor and you're letting the cat drink it. Now imagine your entire house is burning down, or the building that you're staying is burning down, and you see a cat, and instead of saving the very few lives that's left, you're trying to feed the cat. Is that correct? Absolutely not. And this is the idea that I want to talk about. So wisdom is actually reading the context and doing what is best for that particular context. And morality is not something that you memorize, though it is true to an extent that you adopt moral values and you take it from your surroundings. Generally, morality is not a set of rules that you have to by heart, or it's not a constitution that you have to live by. It keeps changing depending on what the situation is. So if you want to be wiser, you have to have the ability to do the action that the specific context requires. So after hearing about this brand new idea, which was brand new for me, I was actually thinking of different examples that I could think of. And I got a brilliant example. I don't know if it's brilliant, but just hear me out. Alcohol is basically forbidden in Islam in this life. So you're not supposed to drink alcohol, yeah? But when you talk about paradise or Jannah, it is described as a very beautiful place, and the promises by your Lord is that you'll have women over there, you can party, you can enjoy forever. I mean, literally forever. There's no end to it. And you can drink alcohol. It'll be streams of wine and honey flowing in the paradise. So something that is very wrong, something that you'll get beaten up according to the Sharia, is very appropriate and is very celebrated in another context. Why is that? The answer is that the context changes. You have passed the mission. You have passed the test. Now you're in a different world. You are enjoying the rewards for living as a rightful person. So an action that is seen as a very bad thing in this world is seen as something that you can celebrate in the next world. Why is that? Isn't that strange? The answer is that the context is different. In this world, this is a test. And in the next world, you have already passed the test. You have passed the mission. Now it's your time to celebrate and enjoy. I honestly think that Aristotle could have taken this as an example. Either ways, morality changes when the context changes. Now, I'm going to give you a very practical, real-life example. This is going to be very easy to understand. Imagine you're standing on a street and you see a girl across the street and you're looking at her. You're staring at her and she feels very bad. So she yells and calls a couple of people and points at you and says, "This guy is staring at me." Now, that is going to be very bad for you. Maybe people are going to beat you up, or you're going to be humiliated and embarrassed for the rest of your life. But that same girl, if she was your wife or your life partner, that would be so romantic, that would be so intimate, and that would be so nice. It is the very same action, but in an entirely different context. I know it sounds very, very basic, but it is quite fascinating when you think of it. The next example is going to be a very difficult one to grasp. Basically, it's about Adam and Eve, or Adam and Hawa. That's how we call them in Arabic. Either ways, Adam was a prophet according to Islamic tradition, and his children had to marry each other. And incest is one of the worst taboos, even in the modern world. But in that context, in that situation, they had to do it. They had no other choice. And if they had not married each other, we would not even exist. A funny example of this concept could be when someone is playing a video game. And in the video game, you have to break into an office and kill the security and go get some, let's say, some specific document. And you get into the building, you see the employee, you just fire a few shots at him. That is very okay because it's just part of the game. However, imagine if that was in real life. The entire context changes. You will be in jail for the rest of your life, maybe. It's very funny when you think of it. The takeaway is that we learn that this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. You're supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. But reality is very different. In reality, morality is contextual. I'm going to repeat it again. In reality, morality is contextual. It depends entirely on the situation. So the same action can be right in one situation and wrong in another situation. The realization that I had after coming across this is that my understanding of morality was fixed, and it was like a constitution that I have to follow and something that I was taught. The truth is, morality is something that can keep changing depending on the context. It means you cannot just blindly learn a set of rules and just follow them for the rest of your life. But you have to have the ability and develop the wisdom to act according to the context. This can be used negatively by people. They can say that, all right, I just did this because the context demanded it, but it may not be even true. It may not be honest. What I'm saying is the context matters a lot, that you have to actually think. You can't hide behind rules, or you can't blame the system. You have to take the responsibility to understand what the context or situation actually demands. Mostly everyone wants very clear answers for everything, right or wrong, black or white. But to be very honest, a lot of things in our life is very gray. It's very vague, and it's about choosing what actually you think is the best for that situation. So that's it for today's video. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to watch more of these videos, you can visit the channel. Thank you.